Boop 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 boo. Boop 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 boop. Boop boop. What's up, everyone? This is a quick little video that I can get out before the end of the year because I'm lazy and I want to make a video that's easy and fast. So today we're going over my frankly insane Spotify Wrapped. This year was an insane year for me, music-wise. Found a lot of new artists, some of which are probably going to be staples of my rotation for forever. Yeah, I had a great year with music. So here's my Spotify Wrapped. I'm gonna go through it in little segments. You listened. We counted 77,000 minutes of music listened. 54 days. Now last year I had 84,000 hours of music, but I don't know how many hours I had of, or sorry, minutes, not hours, minutes of music. I had 84,000 last year, but I think I listened to a bit more podcasts this year. I think I listened to about the same amount total. Tastes like yours can't be defined, but let's try anyway. You listen to 321 genres. Now I don't know how impressive that is. I don't know if it counts like sub genres, but I did listen to a ton of genres this year. And none of it was like mainstream, I think. I had some things that were more mainstream, but I've told my friends, if it's mainstream, I probably haven't listened to it. I don't know, I don't get served up to mainstream stuff. I don't know. If you're wondering why I'm watching a video of a screen recording from my phone, it's because I don't know how to actually log into the account that this is. I have another account logged in on my computer, and I don't know how to log into the account that I've always been listening to music with. Always, like genuinely always. This has been my account since like when I started listening to music, and it was Minecraft parodies that I listened to. So I don't even know what email it is. My top genres of the year: soundtrack, indie rock, Vocaloid, ambient, and J-pop. Keep these in mind, because it doesn't make any sense something later. Okay, what does this make you think of? What age of person do you think this would be? Soundtracks, video game soundtracks, presumably, indie rock, Vocaloid, Hatsune Miku, ambient, and J-pop. We'll see just how old I am later. Age, oh, well, here it is. Age is just a number, so don't take this personally. So, given J-pop and soundtracks, video game soundtracks, I was assuming, it might give me like 30 something. I do listen to some classical music, so it might give me a little bit older. I listen to like Frank Sinatra, Vera Lynn, all that kind of stuff, so it might give me something pretty high. So I think my dad got 46. Spotify is calling me an unk. I didn't even listen to that much early 60s music this year. I listened to a little bit, and I pop it on once in a while, but it was definitely not my main thing. I listened to 4,364 songs this year. I'm trying to wrap my head around I'm trying to envision that many of anything. I don't think I could name 1,000 songs. Maybe if you gave me a while. Also, the songs that were playing in the background this entire time, banger after banger. Like, I think the second song was Confessions of a Rotten Girl. But can I guess my number one? Okay, I was between two here. Money by The Drums and Seventh Heaven by Inoha. I landed on Seventh Heaven by Inoha. And I was wrong. It was Money by The Drums. I kind of assumed they would be on there because these aren't like my favorite songs ever. I love all these songs, but these are just some of the songs that are on the playlist I listened to most this year, which it's called Alt F4 Rock, Alt plus F4 Rock on Spotify if you want to go check it out. It's got the likes of Arctic Monkeys, Seventh Heaven, like you see there, all the ones on screen, but it's also got That's Just Meta Modernity. Do 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 do. You know, it's got some really good stuff on there. It's the rock playlist. I called it Alt F4 Rock because I was getting into alternative rock, and the ones that were on there I don't actually know genre. I'm bad at defining genres, but a majority of the songs on that playlist are alternative rock. Some of them are just rock, some of them are punk rock. I don't think there's any metal on there, but it's more alternative or indie. That's one of my top 2 playlists. We'll talk about that a little more later. Actually, except for Alex Unknown, these are only artists who I listen to like 2 or 3 songs at the max. Some of the other artists, which I'll talk about later, like Roar or Stomach Book and Femtanyl, I don't have on my top songs. Femtanyl for a very specific reason, and I'll talk about that too later. Actually, I'll talk about it right now, because this Spotify account that I don't know how to even... I've never signed out of it because I don't think I know the password to it. I don't know if I could ever sign back into it. I can't turn off the explicit songs, like you can't listen to explicit songs. This is the same thing I've had for years. And so it started with the explicit songs turned on, and I don't know how to turn it off because it's like, no, you have to have your parent do it, dude. So that's why I cannot listen to any of the Femtanyl on Spotify. I do it on YouTube. We made a playlist of all your favorites. Shut up. You listened to 37 albums this year. Not that many. Not that many. I actually do have some vinyl records in real life that I've been running through. One of them was because my grandparents don't have a record player anymore, I don't think. And so I just kind of stole. They didn't have many records that hadn't been taken by other people who also had record players. They had like one, and I had never really heard of it, but I thought, okay, why not give it a shot? And it is... I'm going to grab it right now. Actually, I'll go through all of my records right now, because these are some good albums. We'll start with the one I was talking about, Wings at the Speed of Sound. Now, I think there's some underlying, possibly problematic undertones of this album. I don't really know, but I do know that Silly Love Songs is pretty good. I have here the music from The Legend of Zelda, which is 4 discs. We've got an A through F side, and we've got a ton of songs on here, all classics. A lot of these games I haven't actually played, but the music is absolutely banger. I don't listen to the vinyls more often at all than I listen to Spotify, but tis the inconveniences of the modern day. And whenever I'm trying to like build a vibe, build some character, build some atmosphere, that's when I'll put on the vinyl, because it is really tactile. You gotta pop it in, you gotta bring over the little head, and you know, the sizzle. I don't know, I tried to do the sizzle noise with my mouth. Okay, here's our next one. It is the Cowboy Bebop. It's the Cowboy Bebop one. I know there's a ton of Cowboy Bebop vinyls, but this is the one with Tank. I wanted the one with Cats on Mars, but yeah, we've got Tank, always a classic when you turn it on. And I found something out. Because you know, on vinyl record, well, you might not know, but on vinyl records, there's this function where you can, depending on the vinyl, some of them you have to spin it a little faster to get the intended sound, or a little slower to get the intended sound. Most of them are on, 44 rotations? But if you bump it up, it's the same stuff, just faster. So you can basically nightcore any song. And a lot of the songs in this Cowboy Bebop vinyl are kind of peak cinema when you do that. Okay, now I have a couple here from Frank Sinatra, of course. I have the Ultimate Sinatra, which is just the standard Sinatra songs. We got My Way on here. We got New York. We got Fly Me to the Moon. Yeah, we got plenty of songs. Some of them about marriage, which I think the funny part is that for a person who sings about how you have to have true love in a marriage, sure did get divorced a lot. And then the other one I have from him, of course, indubitably, Sinatra Ultimate Christmas, because of course, and you know I was bumping this around Christmas. We got the White Christmas, A Christmas Waltz, The First Noel, oh yeah, peak cinema, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Silent Night. Then, for my last one, and I want to get some more, and I want to get these displayed better, because right now I just have them in a box under my bed. I have, of course, Minecraft Volume Alpha by C418. It doesn't have any of it doesn't have like Chirp or Ward on it. It just has the songs that actually like play in the background. Cat, Dry Hands. Honestly, it sounds like a completely different album when played on a faster speed. It actually kind of rips. But that's it for my vinyl collection. Of the vinyls I want to get in the future, I have a little list that ever grows whenever I find something I want. The first one is the Deltarune Chapter 2 vinyl. Honestly, I just kind of want it for the art, because the art on that thing is crazy. Go look up if you want to, or I'll pop it up on screen if I'm not too lazy. The Deltarune Chapter 2 vinyl is beautiful. I'm pretty sure all of them are, but this one is the one. This Chapter 2 has my favorite songs in all the chapters, I think. I think that I'm getting them mixed up in my head. Chapter 3, yeah. Chapter 3 also has some pretty good songs. The Green Room's pretty decent. But my favorite song is Welcome to the City, by far. So Deltarune Chapter 2, The art, incredible. The music, incredible. Then 1,000 Songs About It All. That's the next one I want to get. And this is by Madeline May, if I'm not mispronouncing that. And I got into this artist fairly late into the year. I'd say maybe November. I absolutely love this album. One Man Circus, incredible. I can't remember the names of all the other songs, but there's one where I don't want to change your heart, I just want to change your mind, about queer people. This artist also has the absolute banger At the Cemetery. We were at the cemetery. Then there's just pretty much anything Radiohead. I'm not like the most dedicated Radiohead fan. I dabble. I would want to get a Radiohead vinyl. I just feel like I gotta appreciate Radiohead in a certain way, and I feel like vinyl's the way. And then I don't know if they have vinyls, but if I could get a Femtanyl or Stomach Book vinyl, which I'll be talking about them a lot later on, I absolutely would. Alright, let's get back to this Spotify rant. My top album was Deep Morning, which is just kind of a very casual album that I listen to on like morning walks with a lot of other songs. And here's my top albums. My favorite of these 5 is Goodnight Hypnopump. But I think another album that I'm surprised wasn't on here, because I was replaying it for a good while, is I'm Not Here to Make Friends by Roar. I had this one on repeat for a good while, because there's just those sometimes when there's a certain song or set of songs that just resonates with you, or like you're vibing with it. And there's a decent while where I was vibing with Roar. I think my favorite on that album is definitely Poor Grammar. I'm actually surprised that Kikiyama's on there. I'm not surprised that Maretu Coin Locker Baby's on there. I kind of haven't been keeping up with Miku as much. I think I burnt myself out by listening to it a lot of Vocaloid. I kind of been branching out into more music now. So those are my top albums. Alex Unknown is you'll see him later. Again, 27,000 minutes of podcasts. 22,000 of my 27,000 minutes listened were to Chuckle Sandwich. And I've listened to it at least 10 times fully through. At least the stuff that's not explicit on Spotify. Because again, I don't know how the frick to change it. Anyway, yeah, top 0.5% of Chuckle Sandwich fans. No, you know what's the most messed up part about that podcast ending? About Chuckle Sandwich ending? Ted and Tucker started their own podcast. So they literally just kicked off Schlatt. And they were like, oh, I think it's time for this podcast to end. And then they all part their ways, and we're all like, oh, so bad to see them go, but hey, good things can't last forever. And then Ted and Tucker just, oh, I think we should start a podcast. Stupid. Anyway, yeah, Chuckle Sandwich number 1, easily. But second, and this is one I'd like to talk about a little bit, the Magnus Archives. Absolute Cinema. I was listening to this when I was getting into it. I was just getting into it around a time when I went on a road trip. And so the whole time in the car, it was a bunch of people either my age or younger. Like there were 3 children in the car, like 10 to 5 years old, I think, children, and then 2 teenagers. I was watching in the front seat one of the teenagers play Celeste, which banger game. I've been playing it on stream, and the entire time I was just like watching them, or watching everybody else in the car, or blanking out the movie that they were watching. Like, we're watching the My Little Pony movie, which I actually did watch a little bit of. Like, I actually paid attention for a little bit, because they're like, you have to listen to this song, this is the best one in the movie. During most of that movie, it was like these cute ponies on screen and mermaids and mermaid ponies or whatever. And I was sitting here, and it was like, and I watched as he crumpled up the paper and shoved it into his mouth. And then he went into the bathroom, and I watched as something came through his windowsill, and then went into the bathroom, and then out came somebody who wasn't him. This is an actual episode, and everybody keeps saying it's him, but it's not. I remember what he looks like. I've been watching him through my window because he lives across the street, and I'm a people watcher, a person watcher, and that was not my neighbor. Or the episode where, this was very early on, the episode where they get a coffin, and he's like, the coffin started wailing when it started raining, and I got it from this guy who looked completely normal. That's literally the description of the guy. He looked normal. I'm pretty sure is how they described him. But I just only recently finished season 2 It's gotta be maybe my favorite piece of horror that I've ever consumed as of now, though I haven't consumed much. I'm just starting to get into horror. What other horror have I consumed? I think I started consuming this a little after I started playing Limbus Company, which I still am very far behind on, but characters are amazing. Gregor is my boy. And then yeah, just some standard stuff. Hot Black is a Sandwich, Sleep Deprived. You can tell I'm a Schlatt fan because I have Checkle Sandwich and Sleep Deprived on here. And then Welcome to Night Vale. I haven't listened to it much recently. I'd like to get back into it. But I think that one's absolutely amazing. I like it a little more for its humorous side than the Magnus Archives. I think the Magnus Archives is a little more lore heavy, and Welcome to Night Vale is more comedy heavy, which I enjoy both. By the way, the music in Welcome to Night Vale, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I listened to 2,419 artists this year. Keep in mind, I listened to 37 albums. I don't know like what the median is. I wonder if Spotify has like a chart of the median of all of these things. Like what was the most middle person? How many artists did they listen to? Because I do think this is probably quite a lot, but there has to be more. Somebody has to have more. And these 5 were extra special. And they had this little race, which I actually did like this. I thought this was pretty cute. Squib with an early lead. Keisuke Band hot on the tail. Keisuke Band coming up further, and Toby Fox surpassing them all. Oh, would you look at that? From the very back. Oh, from the very back. Alex Unknown races to the top, but Stomach Book is still at the front. So yes, I only got into Stomach Book like whenever the Fukaona Girl trend was. It was a little after that, like maybe a month after that. I was like, oh, that's a pretty good song. And then the trend kind of died down, rose up a little again, and I was like, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good song. And I saw another one. It was this video from that one Deltarune person who makes the like paper puppets, paper dolls, where it's like Rousey and you can pick them up from their like hanging coat and you wiggle around their legs, you know? And one of the songs they had playing was Paper Dolls by Stomach Book. And I was like, okay, maybe I might really like this music. And so I started listening to Stomach Book, put them on loop for a good while. Whew, I am such a big fan of Stomach Book. And here it says, makes you a top 1% global fan. Anyway, actually currently my wallpaper, I set up a bunch of new wallpapers that I can switch between easily on my phone. And the one I'm on right now is actually Stomach Book, 2 different Stomach Book images, which I really liked because they were beautiful arts. And I do not know who made them. Stomach Book Peak. So yeah, here's my top artists. Squib, I like Squib, but I haven't listened to them in a good while. They were more of a start of the year kind of thing, and that feels like so long ago. Keisuke Band, W, snaps all around. I was bumping Keisuke Band music for a good while, a good at least few months. I had it on loop before or right after I watched the anime. Toby Fox, of course, got to be up there. I think it was mostly because earlier this year before I would stream, I would play a certain playlist of mine that had a lot of Deltarune songs on it. I don't actually listen to Deltarune songs that much. I listen to them once in a while, but I don't actually listen to them that much because I've been listening to other stuff like indie/alternative rock, and I've been branching out to other genres, though I'm horrible at naming what the genres I listen to are. Alex Unknown, second most played artist. Alex Unknown, also known as Mika from the Sleep Deprived channel or the Mika channel. Great music. I think it's not quite as highly produced as something like Keisuke Band, of course, because it's just one guy, but I personally like it a lot. And then of course my number one, we've talked about it a lot, Stomach Book, of course. Folie à Deux, Goodnight Hypnopomp, the entire album really. Paper Dolls, Fukaona Girl, because Pretty Girls Deserve to Die, that's banger line. If I could listen to Femtanyl on Spotify, she would probably be just under or above Stomach Book. And after this, I'm going to talk about my actual favorite songs and albums and artists instead of what Spotify shows you are your most played or that. I will be talking about that in a bit. I really didn't understand what this was, this like club thing. And I think it shows because I went back up. Like in the moment I scrolled back up and I was like, what? Did I miss something? I don't know if it changes the like Oh, this was the songs that were, yeah, your club favorites. I don't know if it changed depending on what you listen to, which also, by the way, Minecraft and C418. So that was where I thought that Spotify Wrapped had ended, and so I stopped the video after I got like the screenshot of this. But there was actually a little bit more. There was another little thing below it, and it wasn't that much, but I'm gonna pull it up here and we'll just run over it real quick. Biggest stomach book day, August 2nd. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So that was probably around the time when I started listening to them. So yeah, 2025 was a big year in music for me. Not only did I make some, in fact I made 2 albums. One is really short and the other one is a full Christmas album that I made on way too much of a crunch for myself. If I were to line up my actual favorite songs, albums, artists, I already mentioned Madeline May as somebody who is not on my Spotify Wrapped, but is one of my favorite artists this year. I would have to say the one that was both on my Spotify Wrapped and is actually one of my favorite artists is Stomach Book. Femtanyl I've been getting into. If you like Femtanyl, let me think of a creative compliment. One sec. Femtanyl fans, the type of people to... Femtanyl, like that's too generic. I was gonna say Femtanyl fans, the type of people to support the LGBTQ, but I feel like that's a given. I tried to introduce somebody to Femtanyl and they said this makes me want to vomit. And I said, yeah, doesn't it? Isn't that amazing? Isn't it so good? For top songs of this year, I mean, Push Your Temper is up there, Attacking Vertical is up there, Paper Dolls is up there, but if I had to go songs, I do think One Man Circus is up there, and I actually have a playlist that's private that maybe one day I'll make it public. It's called Songs to Ascend To, and I haven't actually added to it in a while, even though there's way more songs I could put on here, and it has all my favorite songs, but the songs that I don't listen to. Because I feel like the more I listen to a song, if I listen to a song too much, it just doesn't have the same hit after a while. Because I think it really does depend on the emotion you're having at the moment. And when you kind of tire it out after that emotion's gone, when you're like trying to bring back that emotion, I find that it makes me enjoy the song less overall. And so I save them for the times when I'm already feeling that and I want to bring it more into the forefront. It's a certain vibe that you want to lock into. You want to unlock the safe and pop out the gem. And that has some banger songs. I might have to go through and change some because I genuinely do think that, unfortunately, Asgore, which I had on here specifically because I wanted to listen to it not a lot, I listened to it way too much because of driving in my truck right after a beer. And so now it's kind of not ruined for me, but it's not the same emotions as it was before that. Machine Love, W, Your New Home, Honestly Fire. I am just kind of reading off the ones on here. Fuko Ona's Girl is on there. The Place Where It Rained. Although the Sky. Oh, Peak Cinema. Okay, yeah, that might be my top song of the year. Although the Sky. Although the sky may be gray. Yeah, I don't actually know the lyrics. I haven't listened to it in a while. But, oof, it's so good. Mindwave is so good. I put my friend onto Mindwave, the same one who vomited it, or not actually vomited, but didn't like Femtanyl. I put them onto Mindwave. That is one of 3 games I've made fan art for. It was Mindwave and then Limbus Company, Gregor, because Gregor is just that goated. From a Place of Love is also great. The song. Oh, no, I had one in mind that I was gonna say. I Can't Believe I Let You Get Away, all one word. I can't believe I let you get away. The drop on that one is insane. Yeah, artist-wise, I've already said it. Femtanyl, Stomach Book, Alex Unknown, Madeline May. Dooney's also good. Dooney, I don't know. Gunni. Gorillaz, of course, great. They're not my main artists. Mustard Service, great. But yeah, I have, I think, 27 playlists that I actively listen to. Some more than others, of course. Some really short and they're just like the starts of playlists. But I have to curate playlists for certain vibes. And I'll tell you my big ones. So my main one that I listen to most often, and this is the one that had my most played songs of the year, is, of course, Alt F4 rock. Yeah, I'm bad at defining genres, but it's alternative rock, indie rock, just general rock. It's not heavy. I don't like heavy metal very much. I might be getting into it with the rise of me liking Femtanyl and Stomach Book, but new metal is, I think, a genre I'm interested in looking into. I haven't really gotten into it yet. So that's my top album. That's my go-to right now, Alt F4 rock. But then there's probably, I like this one better. Well, I'd say I like it an equal amount, but for like a different mood. I was sharing it with a friend of mine a while back, and they said, "Oh, that's your emo playlist." And I was like, it kind of is. I was never very emo. Also never really been angsty. I was angsty for a year or two. I love the angsty aesthetic. Anyway, yeah, that has nothing to do with A Penny for My Thoughts. These are the very like ethereal or almost sad songs. It's got, there's 3 songs from Welcome to Night Vale. The Ballad of Fiedler and Munt, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly at all, but great songs. Ditmas, and then this one also has Money by the Drums. Oh, interesting. That might be why it's so high. Got some Jack Stauber on there. We've got Starman on here. I'm Only Dreaming by Alex Unknown, of course. Where'd all the time go? Watching it something. And there's some like dreamer-ish songs on here. There's From a Place of Love, but this is like webcore. I don't know what the other genre would be. There's a lot of webcore on here, and there's a lot of like solemn songs, solemn or like weirdcore, that sort of stuff. Like it started us off with like Browser History, Numbers by Temporex, High by Temporex. But the one that I really have in for a dreamlike mood, this is one that is a very, very, very specific day when I'll listen to it. And that's the day when I feel like non-existence. It really is the dreamlike stuff. It's got the main theme from Mouthwashing. I've never played the game. In fact, I think I found this song before I knew what Mouthwashing was. A quick one before the eternal worm devours us whole, and Falling by Instupendo. Overpopulation at the end of the world, at the end of everything. Everything in its right place. Sleepy from Milk Outside of a Bag of Milk, Outside of a Bag of Milk. What Dreaming Sounds Like by Spellcasting. I Dream of Dreaming by No Longer Null of Pressure Fame. These are the dreamcore songs. At least that's how I like them. Okay, there's a couple playlists that I could have as my number 3. Archaicism is up there. Energy Soda is up there, and it's kind of just, it's what Alt F4 rock is, but if it were combined with some of the weirder vibes of Penny for My Thoughts, which is the playlist I was talking about just before. That one's a good one. That one's like 3 hours-ish. My Miku playlist could be there, which I need to add more songs to. Those aren't actually the songs I actually listen to a lot. But I do think the one that I've been growing fond of and that I want to build out more, because this one's a fairly new one, is Giving Up Hurts You More Than Trying, which is almost soul music. But I have some Marvin Gaye. There was one episode of Chuckle Sandwich where I believe Gus Johnson was talking about how he would get a little unsober and listen to Mac Miller Good News. And so I said, I should give that a listen. And it was just around this time when I was trying to get it more into a certain genre. I was like, I should widen my music tastes. There's one song that I liked that I do not know the name of and do not remember what it sounds like. And I think it was soul music. I think it was something about petals. I think it was something about roses or petals or something. The way I wanted to build this playlist was to be like music as a form of deeper self-reflection or thought or a hope in a way. Like I haven't actually listened to, I don't listen to much of the Mountain Goats, but I think their music is great. One of the songs on here is Fishing Boat, which is from a fairly recent album, I believe. But yeah, this one is just a lot of, it's pretty short right now. I would like to beef it up more. I wonder if I sound pretentious. Anyway, yeah, so I've just been trying to get into some more, soul, contemplative music. Otherwise, yeah, I've just been listening to a lot of good music this year. And this is just a quick, short video I can get out before the new year or on the new year about my 2025 in music. Speaking of music, Nope, that's the wrong one. Wait, I forgot my... Oh, this one doesn't have a... There we go. It doesn't have a keybind. Speaking of music, I've made 2 different musical projects. One better than the other, and both of them pretty mediocre, I must say. Mainly because I kind of rushed both of them. Well, the first one was because I was bad at making music, and then the second one was because I rushed everything, most things. And there were still some incredible songs that came out of it, like, because this was my Christmas album, which I'm going to do a more in-depth video about that specifically. The last few days of me working on that one was most of the work. I did like 3 6-hour days, which doesn't seem like that much for a grown adult, like an actual functioning adult, but I am not that. So yeah, my first album, Concordant Dissonance, which I really like the album cover for, and I think the songs are okay. I think they had work that could have been done. And I think the general quality of the work was probably better than Whatever Christmas Is to You. Which, that album, Whatever Christmas Means to You, nobody has ever made a Christmas album called Whatever Christmas Means to You. There's like 1,000 renditions of the song of Whatever Christmas Means to Me, or What Christmas Means to Me. But it's never... I was astounded, because I was just like, what should I name this album? Because on the last day, I realized I had not come up with a name. And I was like, I actually can switch to a PNG. Yeah, that's the cover album for that one. This is not traced, but it is directly copied from Mariah Carey. So anyhow, this album was a great one. I actually sang this on stream because I didn't want to play any more Celeste. And it's a full like 23-minute long album. Which is, I think it was 23 minutes, yeah. Which is way longer than my previous one. My previous one was like 9 minutes. Because it was only like 6 songs. It was 6 songs and they weren't very long, half of them. And to admit, at least like 3 or 4 of the songs in Whatever Christmas Means to You were very short. I think the song that I liked most, and I'll talk about this more in the Christmas, in that video, but I think my favorite song in the Whatever Christmas Means to You album is It Never Changed. I came up with all of this, all of the lyrics, all of the song, the day I released the album. Because I had another song that I was going to do that I just really wasn't feeling, and I didn't know how to make it into a song. And so I said, okay, well what if I just killed that one? Wouldn't that be funny? That would be so funny. And so I did, and I switched it with my favorite song of the album that I came up with on the spot. So if you want to see that one, it's the second to last song in the Christmas album. I hope everybody had a very good year, a wonderful year, a brilliant year perhaps. I know that my year was actually pretty dang good, and I hope next year is as good as I'm planning it to be, because I've got some big things coming up for my personal life and for you guys. So I'll see you then. So happy New Year's. I hope you enjoyed your stay, and I hope you enjoyed looking at my kind of crazy Spotify rap. So I will see you next time, next year. Maybe it is already next year by the time I post this video, if I'm a little bit slow. And I hope that you will go listen to some Femtanyl after this. I swear if this video gets flagged for including drugs in it, because I say Femtanyl with an M so many times, I'm gonna get mad.